Hello and welcome back to the final episode of TUTV. I don't know if you could tell from the music and the black and white, but we're in our Noir episode.
Yeah, black and white themed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't tell, but I tried to wear my black and white shoes, but all I had was pink. So, but you guys can't see that, thankfully.
Right. So this is the last show of the semester. How are you feeling about finals?
Let's just not talk about finals.
Talk about them, yeah.
I'm a little bit stressed because I've got a lot of racing coming up too, right when finals start.
Yeah.
So, what about you? How are you feeling?
I'm a little worried because I recently caved and purchased the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game. So we'll see if I get things done or not. But speaking of Lego, do you have a favorite Lego set?
I do. I love the ones where you make the cars, like the McLaren and the Ferrari. I love those. I don't know why. I'm obsessed with Formula One. If you guys didn't know this already, I'm sure I've spoken about it before. But I love the cars. So yeah, what about you?
Cool. I have this Iron Man set with like 3 or 4 different Iron Man suits in his mansion. So
that's cool.
I like that one, yeah. Well, that's about all the time we have for now. So let's get to the show. We'll see you later.
Hi, welcome back to TUTV. I'm Christopher DePalma.
And I'm Detective Gumshoe. I'm kidding, I'm Jacob Gailey. Welcome back to the show. We've got some exciting stories to get into, so let's get right into it.
Dr. Ashish K. Jha, the new White House COVID-19 response coordinator, said on this past Sunday evening that Americans aged over 60 should consider getting their second booster shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. According to Dr. Jha, research from Israel indicates that a fourth shot offered strong protection, particularly against severe illness in people over 60. In a separate appearance on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, Dr. Jha said that a second booster shot for Americans between the ages of 50 and 59 is, quote, a much closer call, end quote. People in that age group should consult a physician before getting a second booster.
At least 10 Brooklyn subway riders were shot this past Tuesday by a man wearing a gas mask and a green construction vest. The attacker threw 2 smoke canisters into one of the train cars and began to open fire. The shooter fired at least 33 times. The injured were taken to at least 3 city hospitals, including NYU Langone, Maimonides Medical Center, NYP Brooklyn Methodist, and Kings County Hospital. The youngest victims in the shooting, 4 children between 12 and 16 years old, were taken to Maimonides Medical Center. All of these victims are expected to survive.
Miriam Rios was found unconscious dangling upside down from a setter Tuesday after a tornado went through central Texas. Miriam's father, Joel Rios, mother, Vanessa, and 1-year-old Ezra were also hospitalized after the twister tossed them in different directions as it leveled small community of Cedar Valley near the tiny town of Salado. The family's mobile home was flattened. The tornado destroyed at least 60 homes and injured many. Miriam and her family are expected to recover from their injuries. No fatalities were reported.
Around 7 a.m. on the Sunday, the Ever Forward, a 1,095-foot container ship operated by the same company whose vessel blocked the Suez Canal last year was finally freed in the Chesapeake Bay. Loaded with nearly 5,000 containers, the Ever Forward was on its way to Norfolk, VA from Baltimore when, according to the United States Coast Guard, it became stuck in the bay near the Craig Hill Channel on March 13th. Once the ship's load was lightened by the Coast Guard, Maryland Department of the Environment, and Evergreen Marine Corps, the ship was able to be set free and continue on its intended path. In a statement, William Doyle, the executive director of the Maryland Port Administration, described the task of freeing the Ever Forward as a, quote, outstanding team effort, end quote.
Florida's educational department has agreed to reject 54 math textbooks from next year's school curriculum due to their potential relations to critical race theory. The department released statements to justify their reasonings of banning specific mathematical textbooks. From an article published by The Guardian, the department said in a press conference that, quote, because they do not properly align to best standards and incorporate prohibited topics or unsolicited strategies, including CRT, end quote. TUTV's very own news producer, Jonathan Jonah Rice, shared his thoughts on this issue by saying, quote, Jesus, if you are there, please take the wheel, end quote.
You know, speaking of old-timey things like the 20s and all that and the noir scene, one of my favorite dances probably to come from around that time would have to be the Charleston. Do you have any?
I like Charleston shoes.
Charleston shoes are very nice.
Yeah. Do you like them frozen or do you like them normal?
I'd say more of a normal. Speaking of around that era, though, the TU Theater Department is actually hosting a show based around the 30s.
Really?
TU's Cabaret. It's a show that focuses in Germany right before World War II and has a lot of interesting stuff going on with its politics.
Well, it sounds exciting. When can I see this show?
From Thursday to Sunday of this week, actually, so you better keep an eye out. Anyways, I think that's all we have time for. I'm Jacob.
I'm Christopher. Stay cool.
Hello, and welcome to the interview portion where I am now interviewing Parker. The coffee tables have turned, as they would say. But
they would.
Yeah. How's it going, Parker?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Feeling good about graduating in 2 weeks?
Well, now you say that, now I feel less good. No, yeah, I mean, it'll be good, probably. I mean, it's uncertain how it will go.
Yeah.
And that's the best and worst part of graduation.
Fair enough. So tell us a little bit of how you came to TU, what your major is. Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So I'm a computer science major, now a senior, and I discovered TU through a career fair at my high school. And it seemed really cool, the idea of, you know, the big school feel with a low faculty to student ratio. Also heard they had a really good cybersecurity program. So yeah, ultimately what sold me, wow, I'm giving my like UA spiel now that you ask why I came to TU.
I cracked you open.
Yeah, you did, yeah. But yeah, basically I went to the tour, Tulsa time and all that, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. So
cool. Well, computer science is not a typical major here, so how'd you get involved with TUTV?
Oh, you mean at TUTV, not at TU.
Well,
okay.
I meant TU, now I mean TUTV.
Yeah. Well, you invited me, so that would do it.
Wow, put a little feather in my cap there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And you were a sophomore?
Yes, I was a sophomore. I think I maybe peaked on set as a freshman at some point, but as a sophomore, you were like, hey, yeah, you should anchor. And I showed up and read off the teleprompter and fumbled on all my words, and we had to start over.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, teleprompters are hard, so.
Yeah, I'm still mastering them.
Yeah, me too.
So you started as an anchor, and then you became a host. And you helped out with the live streams too, right?
Yeah, I mean, mostly for like packages and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite TUTV moment was?
Wow.
Your big media moment for TUTV, as it were.
Yeah, that's an easier question to ask than it is to answer. Wow, now I'm on the other side. I really have just enjoyed all of the individual packages that we've shot. Because usually everyone involved is kind of a combination of writer, actor, and director, like everybody. And so that collaborative experience is just really fun, as well as the editing process.
Yeah.
So.
Who's your favorite co-host?
Ooh, okay.
And why?
Well, I'd like to think of myself as like better Jack Zico. He walked so I could run.
Yeah.
So
he did walk a lot.
He walked so
the
much.
line real closely.
Yeah, and just tripped all over and yeah. So I guess I would have to say Jack Zico was my inspiration. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, take that as you will, I guess.
Yeah, he inspired me to do better than him out of necessity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want too much slander at that. Yeah. So we're graduating in 2 weeks. Where are you going after that?
That's a good question I don't have the answer to. I'm going to be working remotely for Nepris, which is based in Frisco, my hometown. But because it's a remote job, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at Boston right now. Tulsa and Frisco, though, aren't like out of the question. So.
So like 40% Boston.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because it seems like a cool place, but I haven't even gone. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice you would give as an outgoing senior to, I don't know, prospective TUTV students or just students in general? Any sage advice?
Yeah, try a lot of things. I'm pointing at the wrong camera. This one? Yeah.
No.
Try a lot of things. And then, how do I put this? Like, I think the best and worst part of my college experience was doing so many things, because I got to try a lot of new things, but I'd probably, by the time I was a senior, should have maybe dwindled it down a bit, you know? TUTV I would have definitely kept. But yeah, like, don't be afraid of having a full calendar, but also don't be afraid of having an empty one. Try a bunch of stuff. See how you like it. Talk to a bunch of people who disagree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're very glad that you tried TUTV, Parker.
I'm glad you invited me.
Thank you for your service and everything you've done here at TUTV.
Thanks, yeah.
That's all that I've got for this interview, so let's send it to the desk.
Cool.
No sports. No sports.
Hi, welcome to TUTV. I'm Ethan Worley.
And I'm Joe McCurdy. We've got some exciting stories this week, so let's jump right into it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and Joel Embiid were named finalists for the NBA MVP award. Jokic was the 2021 winner of the award, while Antetokounmpo was a back-to-back winner in 2019 and 2020. Antetokounmpo averaged 29.9 points and 11.6 rebounds this season, while leading the Milwaukee Bucks to a 51-31 record. Jokic, center for the Denver Nuggets, averaged 27.1 points, 13.8 rebounds, and 7.9 assists with a 58% field goal percentage. Joel Embiid averaged 30.6 points with 11.7 rebounds a game. It is the first time in NBA history every MVP finalist is an international player. The award will be announced near the end of June.
Tulsa announced the signing of 2 basketball commits last Wednesday. B.B. Knight II and Josiah McWright were both originally committed to Louisiana Tech, the school where new head coach Tulsa head coach Eric Conkle previously coached. Knight is a 6'6" guard from Katy, Texas, whose senior season was cut short by an injury after 7 games, but he still holds his school all-time scoring record. McWright is a 6'5" guard out of Houston, Texas, where he was named his district's MVP following a season where he scored 14.3 points a game. These 2 commits join Charles Chukwu, who signed in the November signing period as part of TU's incoming class of recruits.
Tulsa men's tennis beat Temple 4-2 last Sunday. TU came to the duel ranked 49th and coming off 2 straight wins. Tulsa took a 1-0 lead by winning the doubles point with wins at the second and third double spot. Tulsa went up 2-0 with a win by default at the second single spot. Following a win at the fourth single spot, Tulsa controlled the duel with a 3-0 lead. Temple won at the third and fifth single spots to narrow Tulsa's lead down to 3-2, and Tulsa's Cody Pearson, ranked 87th in the nation, delivered the duel-clinching point to Tulsa with a victory in the third set. Tulsa, who hosts the conference tournament, begins that tournament this Friday.
Tulsa's women's tennis won their season finale against Temple 6-1. In the most recent ITA rankings, Tulsa was ranked 48th. Tulsa took a 1-0 lead by winning the doubles point thanks to wins at the first and second double spots. TU took a 3-0 lead before Temple won the fourth spot and their only point of the game. The clinching point for Tulsa came from Shura Pupe, who won 6-1, 1-6, 6-1 at the singles spot. With the win, TU's Laia Kondo Monfort finished the season with a 12-3 record at the first single spot.
Tulsa softball won 1-0 in the second part of a doubleheader at Memphis last Friday. Tulsa was 14-23-1 going into the game. The sole run of the game came in the top of the 7th inning when Tulsa's Callie Davis scored off the RBI single from Riley Keith. TU's Samantha Pokop pitched a complete game shutout and only allowed 2 hits. In the shutout, Pokop threw 2 strikeouts and did not allow any walks. Keith hit her 13th RBI of the season, while Callie Davis scored her 8th run of the season. Tulsa will host in-state rival Oklahoma State this Wednesday.
So I know we talked about the MVP, and of course the postseason's going on right now. So I was wondering, what are your two finals picks?
Yeah, so right now I think out of the West, I think the Phoenix Suns are going to repeat as the Western Conference champions. I think Devin Booker's too good of a shooter and Chris Paul's just too good of an all-around player to not make the finals, especially without a real super team in the West like we've seen in the past few years. And then out of the East, I think the 76ers are going to make it. They've looked really good in their first two games. I just think the combo of Embiid and Harden, like if they can click, it's just too good of a team to beat. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna take the Suns as well. I think this will be Chris Paul's first ever ring. But out in the East, I'm gonna pick Milwaukee to come back, have a rematch of 2020's finals.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Giannis can definitely carry any team he wants to that championship. And so that's all that we have for today, folks, but we've got an interview coming up next.
Welcome back to TUTV. We are here with another interview. I'm here with Hannah. Hannah, I'll let you introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. Hi, you guys. My name is Hannah Whorton. I am a senior here at TU studying geosciences and energy management. I'm really excited to do this interview with Wes. And I have been a part of TUTV for a pretty long time, since my freshman year, and I'll tell you guys a little more about that. But as far as the roles that I've served in throughout my time in TUTV, I started out as a producer and an anchor, and then I was assistant director, then I was director for about a year, and then after that I took a little time off, and then when I came back, I just fill in wherever needed. So I've done a little hosting, a little anchoring, sometimes we like to call myself motivator-in-chief for fun, just to kind of help people get acquainted with the studio if they've never been, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So.
Yes, you do help out with everything. Yeah. So the first thing I'm wondering is, how did you come to TU? What brought you here?
So my TU stories, as far as how I got here, is kind of typical. I'm from Arkansas, and so not too far. My uncle came to TU. He was a media studies major, actually. So he was kind of the first person to introduce it to me. And then I was looking for, more academically focused community, which TU obviously had, but I also wanted a university that had a decent social scene and a good on-campus community as well, and I felt like TU had both of those things. So I didn't decide till very late in my senior year, but I'm obviously glad that I did. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And after coming to TU and kind of seeing a part of the community, what led you to get so involved in TUTV specifically?
Yeah, so I love how I found out about TUTV, the story behind that. Very classic activities fair, right? I lived in Lottie Jane freshman year, the dorm down there, and the activities fair was in our U across, or outlining the old U, and it was the very first table in front of Lottie Jane. So it was the first table I walked up to, the first one I wrote my name down for. I did broadcasting in high school kind of as a hobby, and so I was like, oh, this is great because I'm not currently studying it, but I would love to keep doing it in my free time. So I signed up and came to the first interest meeting along with a few other freshmen, Sam Moody, who I know you guys know. He and I came together to that first meeting, and just from the get-go, I loved it and could see myself being a part of that community for the rest of my college career in whatever way, shape, or form that was. And so I volunteered to be a producer and an anchor that night, kind of just right off the bat, and yeah, here we are. So I've just never left.
Yeah. So you were really involved in TUTV kind of right from the beginning, and you have such a long kind of legacy with so much of the things that we've done. Through that time, what's the most important lesson that you would say that you've learned from TUTV? Yeah.
So I've learned a lot of things from being a part of the student organization. I think a few big takeaways I've had is that first, communication, your communication skills can always get better. I've always felt like I'm a pretty good communicator, and that's one reason I was never really nervous to be on camera, one reason I wasn't super, it was a challenge, but nervous to be in a role like directing. but there's always something you can improve upon, and there's always something that someone else has to teach you about a role. And I think TUTV, because it's such a collaborative organization and there are so many different roles and parts and pieces functioning at the same time, you're always going to learn something from somebody else. And I think the other really important thing that I've taken away from it is to like try new things and also let other people like experiment with what they want to do. I think sometimes we get so stuck in this headspace of like, well, this is what I'm good at and this is what this person's good at, and so we're just gonna like stick to our things and do that. But with TUTV, you have so much fluidity and opportunity to try out a million different things. You may not know how talented you are at something on camera versus off camera, or off camera versus on camera. And so I think TUTV has just taught me a lot about letting yourself kind of explore different gifts you might have, or just learn new skills in general without fear of failure so much. So, yeah.
Nice, yeah. You spoke about the fluidity, and that has been very applicable to you in that you've been willing to fill so many different positions in your time. With having done so much, what's your favorite memory?
Oh gosh, there are a lot of them. So first and foremost, all of my memories just fall under the umbrella, like the TUTV community is so special. I have like friends here. It's not just colleagues, we're not just student TV producer people that like see each other at work. Like we really keep up with each other and have formed really special bonds and friendships. So most of my favorite memories come from honestly ridiculous interactions that we've all had while trying to work towards a goal. But one of my favorite memories was actually when I was still a producer, so freshman year, and it was during one of our live streams. Sam, Moody, and I were writing breaking news scripts for that live stream, and so we were researching and writing things in real time and then producing them. And one of the breaking news stories that I wrote, I got to physically run out here into the studio and like throw a piece of paper at our anchors, and it was just very hilarious, and like the real timeness of it was just super fun. And so anyway, I just remember feeling like a big rush of adrenaline during that type of moment. So
nice, yeah. So it's been great having you. The last question that we're going to ask is, what piece of advice do you have for incoming freshmen, whether coming into TUTV or TU as a whole?
Yeah, I think it is so important to let yourself just not stick so much to your plan. I'm a very careful planner, as just naturally it's who I am, but being spontaneous and then letting yourself explore interests that you don't even know you might have. And then also like letting yourself change your mind is so important. I did not think I would be studying geosciences and then also be so involved in something like TUTV, and it's okay to do very different things at the same time. So let yourself like digress from the plan a little bit and see where it leads you, and don't feel like you have to have it all figured out from the moment you get here, because you don't, and you will be okay.
Yeah. I support that advice as well. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, Hannah.
Thank you, Wes.
It's been great to have you back.
Yeah.
And I wish you the best after graduation.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.
Whoa, Hannah just teleported. Welcome back to TUTV Entertainment. I'm Parker.
And I'm Hannah Whorton. We've got some really exciting stories for you this week, so let's get into it. The annual Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival returned last weekend after a 2-year hiatus. The music festival had a first weekend attendance of more than 125,000 guests per day. Coachella had headliners such as Harry Styles, The Weeknd, and guest Swedish House Mafia and Billie Eilish. The first weekend of the festival was streamed on YouTube for viewers at home to watch their favorite artists take the stage. The second weekend of Coachella will be April 22nd through the 24th and will not be live streamed for at-home viewers.
Paquin Entertainment Group announces Beyond Van Gogh, the immersive experience, is coming soon to Tulsa for a limited time. The immersive experience will feature more than 300 of Vincent van Gogh's artworks as three-dimensional pieces. Recognizable classics such as The Starry Night, Sunflowers, and Cafe Terrace at Night will be on display across multiple surfaces across 300,000 square feet. Tickets are available for pre-order for the experience at vangohtulsa.com.
The Broadway premiere of The Minutes officially opens April 17th at Studio 54 for a limited run through July 24th. The Minutes is a comedic play written by Tracy Letts that previews a city council in Big Cherry that is trying to reveal a secret record in cracks. The Minutes features an ensemble cast including Tony winners Jesse Mueller, Blair Brown, and Schitt's Creek Noah Reid. The Minutes began previews in February 2020 but never officially opened due to the pandemic.
Rob Lake, an Oklahoma illusionist, will be returning to Masters of Illusion on the CW network. Lake's first performance on the show was in 2013 with a follow-up appearance in 2014. Lake states that, quote, "My appearances on Masters of Illusion throughout the season feature brand new illusions that have never been seen on television before," end quote. Lake has recently drawn media attention for his Broadway-bound show, The Magic of Robert Lake, with live international tour dates now resuming. The season premiere of the show was on April 9th and debuted Lake's new act, Twisted.
Bruce Willis's family has announced the actor is retiring from the profession after being diagnosed with aphasia. Aphasia is a language disorder caused by brain damage that affects a person's ability to communicate. His family states that we, quote, we are moving through as a strong family unit and wanting to bring his fans in because we know how much you guys mean to him, end quote. Then they gave some thanks to his supporters by saying, quote, as Bruce always says, live it up, and together we plan to do just that, end quote.
So Harry Styles is going to be performing at Coachella. That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. Parker, I don't know if you know this, but I actually got to see Harry Styles in concert last semester.
Oh, wow. No, actually, I would happen to know that. In fact, everyone at TU would happen to know that.
Everyone, okay, TU, I feel like that's kind of a big bubble. Maybe everyone at TUTV.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still an amazing time. I wish Lily was here. Lily and I have talked about this probably too many times on camera. If we had a count, it would probably be more than 5. We did make a whole extra segment about it for the live stream. Or no, the off-campus show.
Yeah. I think like 2 live streams ago, or yeah.
Gosh. Harry Styles has been apparently a big part of this year's TUTV podcast.
Yes.
So
yeah, we've done trivia about him.
He released a new song recently. It is so good. I could go on.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
We started with Harry Styles. You know, we're ending with Harry Styles.
We end with him.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it, really. On a more nostalgic and realistic note, Parker and I are anchoring for the last time together, so we're a little scenty. But it's been an amazing time on TUTV. So
yeah.
With that, I'm Hannah Whorton.
And I'm Parker Bedlan.
We'll see you next time.
Catherine, did you know that Hannah went to the Harry Styles concert last semester?
You know what? I'm going to say something different, and no, I did not.
Wow.
So you're welcome, Hannah. I'll be on your side. I did not know that, but I'm sure I'll keep hearing about it now.
Yeah, it's going to make the rounds at least a dozen more times.
I'm sure it will, and for good reason.
Yeah.
For good reason.
I heard you're interested in the Van Gogh exhibit that's coming.
I am, yeah. I mean, I know that they had one in London, but I've been here, so I haven't been able to go. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to. But what is this I hear about you not hearing the greatest thing?
So I don't want to, this is all hearsay. But it was in St. Louis for a while before it came to Tulsa, and my sister went to it and checked it out, and she said it was a little underwhelming. So I don't want to knock it. I don't want to be on air criticizing the Van Gogh interactive exhibit. I did go to the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam a couple of years ago, and that was really cool. But as far as this interactive exhibit, I'm not sure. So go and then come back next semester and tell us.
And I'll let everybody know how it
yeah.
actually was and that Sam was lying.
It probably won't be in Tulsa by then, but maybe wherever it travels to next.
I think it's a really awesome idea, to be honest. I really like the interactive stuff. Like, we have the Science Museum back home in London, and I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Like, all of the little experiments you can do and things like that. So interactive experiences are really fun. Really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think they're onto something. I think being able to interact with what you're exploring and what you're learning about is, I mean, obviously as children, like that's kind of how you learn things. You like do art, or you learn art by doing art and making art and playing with toys.
Yeah.
So.
I just don't know if it's embarrassing to go back as like a 21-year-old, like, I want to go play with all the exhibits. I just don't know if I'm like at that awkward age. Like, it's okay when you're a child, and I think it's okay when you have children, but I'm in that middle section now where I'm like, is it okay to like go and play with all these things?
I don't know. I'm of the opinion that we're all children at heart. So
I like that.
If you want to go play with it, go play with it. Well, this has been a great semester here at TUTV. We've made it through so much, and I'm so proud of everyone that's been a part of it. And for the last time, I'm Sam Moody.
I'm Catherine. See you next time.